I'm back. It is Monday, the 25th day of August, 2025. Who'd have thought we'd have lived so long? But let's get down to what I want to talk about today. When it's time to go, it's time to go. When it's time to move, it's time to move. What the hell am I talking about? I am talking about these dumbass Democrats. I run into them everywhere. I can't understand their rationale, but let me explain something. The fact that President Donald John Trump is moving military forces into major cities is good news for all. Now, it's not good for Democrats because every major city you can name, LA, New York, San Francisco, Boston, all of these cities, how in the hell is it that they're run by Democrats? How in the hell is it that out of nowhere, despite the supposed minority presence, their mayors, their chiefs of police, their fire chiefs, their city council people are by and large black Americans? What the hell is that all about? You know what? I don't believe in coincidence. I'm a man of science. Therefore, I believe in fact, numbers, science. Let me get into this thing. Quick burp. I love that button. You know, the crimes I'm talking about, the crimes we need to stop, they're not just robberies, muggings, rapes. It's not just looting and murder, although these are pretty severe. Let's not downplay that. What I'm really homing in on is the organized crime of city and state governments. And virtually every city and state has some level of organized crime. It's a fact. Prove me wrong. I'm waiting. Do da do da do da do. You can't prove me wrong. Let's move on, jackass. Pay attention. I'm talking to every lib out there. I'm talking only to you, and anybody with their mind about them is just here as an audience. Virtually every major city in the country suffers under the burden of organized crime in government at all levels. There's nobody they can trust. Nobody people can trust. Not one person in government can be trusted. They have been co-opted by leftists. They're proof of what Lord Acton said, that power corrupts absolutely, and absolute power tends to corrupt absolutely. Well, they're absolutely corrupt, and they're all right there in league, lockstep with the American Democrat Party. And it's not just being leftist or being a commie Democrat, but a matter of being black or some other drastic minority. Understand this. Pay attention. The minds of black people have always been more malleable when it comes to ideas, information, behavior modification, manipulation. Democrats, particularly the radical socialist element, people like your AOC, God, they make my ass hurt, have found blacks to be the easiest to sway and most effective to manipulate to achieve Democrat goals. Remember, the Democrats will tell you that the party is America, America is the party. That sounds an awful lot like what they told me in China when they said China is the party is China. Ooh, it's a scary, scary, scary comparison when you see just how similar the Democrat Party and the Chinese Communist Party are. It is bothersome to say the least. One look at New York, that's all you got to do to justify bringing in the National Guard and active duty military. You got to bring them in to get those cities under control. New York is gone. You got a black mayor, overwhelmingly black government from city council to district attorney to police chiefs to supervisors. How in the hell did a noted minority, so few, grab such a stranglehold on a city of 8 million people? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Oh, there's a lot of theories. We could think a lot of things. We could think that Beijing's behind it. Maybe. Maybe not. We could think that Moscow was behind it and Beijing filled the gap. That's going to a book called The Darkening of America. Let's not get into that. The chain of command, this minority evil chain of command, must be broken in order for federal aid to work. If, when aided by federal law enforcement, the city doesn't cooperate, then they've got to be fired. You got to sack them all. Some sort of executive order. You can't sack them. Find the dirt on them and arrest them. Either way, fire the bastards. Every day the press is alive with at least one snatch and grab resulting in injury or death of usually an old person or a child. Every day we learn of shootings where at least one innocent bystander is shot dead or severely injured. Every day we hear of carjackings. Don't even get me started with the New York City subway system. My God, their subway cars are nothing more than traveling coffins. They suck. Nobody takes the subway without knowing they're taking a chance. How did it get that way? Chain of command. Governor, mayor, city council, council presidents, attorneys, prosecuting attorneys. In New York alone, deaths by stabbing, beating, gunshot, even being set on fire and burned to death are happening in the subways and on the streets. When you tie this up with New York's traffic congestion, roving bands of thugs, New York has become a near post-apocalyptic battleground. Where in this metropolis are any streets or walkways safe? Where can you walk up and down the street, even in a crowd, even right there in Times Square, without being a victim of pickpockets, people with knives to stab you for no other reason, gunpoint, robbery, worse? Come on, that's a fact. You know what? I did some phone calls. I like making phone calls. Might as well have it glued to my damned ear. And I called up the 11th precinct. They referred me to a Sergeant Allendorf. Yeah, good old Allendorf. I like this guy. He's been retired for a week so he can talk. He said, use my name. I'm retired. I'm moving to Jersey. Okay. He says, and I quote, this place has gone to shit so fast we can't keep up. It's slowed a little lately, but it's still out of control. You know, when we make an arrest, our system is so backed up, we almost always let them go on their own recognizance. Tell me what's wrong with that little gem. End quote. Here's a 30-something-year police officer who picked somebody up for stabbing an old lady, putting her in the hospital in critical condition, and the guy doesn't even have to post bail. They fingerprint, photograph, and kick him loose for a court date somewhere in early, are you ready? 2027. What the hell is that about? 2027? Good golly, Miss Molly. What we need to do is get our shit together. Have Mr. Trump send troops into New York, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle, just for starters. Do as he's doing now. Send armed federal troops to help local police. If the police won't cooperate, arrest them for interfering. If they will cooperate, help them. They're honest men and women with a badge trying to keep order. If, the mayor says to the police, don't do it, arrest the mayor. Anybody who gets in the way of just, I'm so pissed I can barely talk. Let me say this. Our largest cities, our major cities, the cities that should be shining lights on a hill, examples for tourists to say, boy, I was in Washington, D.C. That was amazing. Did you see Philadelphia? Boy, Seattle. Oh, the Pike Street Market. Oh, the Space Needle. Oh, L.A. Hollywood, baby. They should be able to do it, and they can't do it because all of these cities are being run by a new version of La Cosa Nostra, the Democrat Party, and their minorities that they're playing with. They're manipulated minorities. Is it their fault? Not entirely. I think genetics has a lot to do with it. Well, I've said enough, and I'll say this. Mr. Trump, if you're watching it all, stop talking about it. Get off your ass and do it. Get your troops into the cities. Keep them. You're paying them anyway. These soldiers and sailors, these airmen, these Marines are already being paid, even if they sit around the barracks shining their shoes. So put them on a truck, send them to New York, clean it up. Oh, God, it makes me crazy. But thank you for listening. I do appreciate the hell out of it. I'm Max. We'll have more to talk about mañana.